Oh boy, what's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite, and we are at it again. And if y'all don't know by now, I'm Chris.
And I'm Brisha. What
What
up?
up? All right. Now it is Saturday night, and if you are not aware, if you are in the U.S., of course, time is going up tomorrow. So we're gonna mean that means that in the U.S. we're gonna get an extra hour of sleep. But for the people in the Caribbean, it's just business as normal. Oh boy. Well, this evening, we got some awesome information to cover with you all as usual. And this is one of the topics that has come up quite often, and we decided to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into it today so that you all can have a better understanding and understanding and overstanding over the Akashic Records.
Yes, we might already have some experts in the house, so don't be shy to chime in the comments if you feel the need to share your experience about the Akashic Records. I'm pretty sure you might have your own experience of the Akashic Records, and just we're just gonna give it a little bit more to get some people to check on in. I know it's late again.
Yeah, we also got to make sure that the feed is good before we start diving into anything.
Yeah, because we wanted to do, hey, honeydew.
Honeydews in the
What's up,
building.
girl? What's up? Looks like we got to come in on late night to get honeydew.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're gonna touch on the Akashic Records. Um, Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely invite you to subscribe to our channel, and also put a small like on the video. We've seen that some people already did put some like on the video, but it really does help with
Nice.
the algorithm if you guys can just put a like on the video. Thank you.
All right. So the connection is good, so we can go ahead and jump in. And we're going to get right into it, y'all, because we don't know how late y'all up. We don't know if y'all out partying or what's going on, and you just got your phone over to the side of Twin Flames on right now. You know
Oh, we got Marshawn. What's up, Marshawn?
what's going on? We got both of our moderators in the
Beautiful.
place.
Yes,
That is dope.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. So, once again, we're going to be covering the Akashic Records this evening. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you for tuning in. Once again, like my baby says, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
Like and share.
Yes. And we're going to get right into it. So, the Akashic Records, what is it?
Well, and I took some good notes too from my past experience in my
Just this little bit.
early journey towards awakening. I started hearing about this word Akashic, and I'm like, this is about maybe 3 years ago. Well, 3 years ago now. Ooh, it's been a while. And I'm like, what is Akashic? Like, what are they talking about? Akashic Records. And for the most part, most people would describe the Akashic Records as like this big, giant library in the cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really not exactly correct.
No.
It's just a way of trying to get someone to understand and overstand and understand, what the Akashic Records really is. So
Mm-hmm.
saying that it's a library of records is just like the linear explanation of what the Akashic Records really is. But Akashic Records
Mm-hmm.
comes from the Akashic comes from the Sanskrit word Akasha, and it means space, right? Sky or ether, thoughts. You can think of it as like a collective consciousness, as far as the Akashic Records. That's where all the information is stored. Every thought that you've ever had, every thought that you thought you've
Mm-hmm.
had, it's all in the Akashic Records. Everything is being recorded.
Yeah.
You can think of it like the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is the one that does give you access to the Akashics, because our subconscious mind is recording 24 hours a day, 7 days of the week, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah, it's like being in the flow. It's like a lot of times when athletes or artists they get into the quote unquote flow, that means that they're really tapping into that Akashic record. They're tapping into some type of memory that's associated with getting a task done. They're associated with getting new intuition. Like Tesla was one of those who connected with the Akashic records, and of course, Edgar Casey. If you're looking into the Akashic records and you don't know who Edgar Casey is, we definitely recommend that you look into that name because that will take you into an even deeper rabbit hole because there's so many I'm not looking for the words downloads, but as far as there are some different sessions that Edgar Casey did while he was in Egypt, as far as getting information on the Sphinx and on the world and things of that nature. So if you definitely want to get a little bit more deeper, even deeper than what we're gonna get into this evening,
Yeah.
definitely check out Edgar Casey.
Yeah, we just doing like this is just like fluff stuff that we getting into, just kind of like scratching the surface on the Akashic record. That's because someone had mentioned it a few videos ago, and we thought it would be a really nice topic to really get into really quickly. Now, the Akashic records, it contains your probabilities. You know, probabilities. If you guys ever seen Doctor Strange, you know, he had to go into time, far into time, to see the different probabilities. And these are just probabilities, are just decisions that, like choices that you have. So instead of turning left, you're going to turn right. But there's actually an existence, you know, in the Akashic records that you can tap into to see what would have happened if you had made that other decision. So those are your probabilities.
Yeah. And not only is it showing you your probabilities, it's also taking you into past lives that you've experienced, and it's also connecting you with your ancestors because there are different levels to the Akashic records, which we're going to dive into in a moment.
Yep.
But it is definitely a recording of everything that happened in the past before you even came into existence
Yeah.
because you were linked to entity or whatever that existed before you, and it's just following through. And of course, has the information up into this present moment and to many other different variations for your possible future.
Yes. And for those of you who are just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just ask that you put a like on the video if the information that we are sharing is helpful for you. And just to go into, there are like three subcategories when it comes to the Akashic records that you can think of it that way, just for explanation and for the brain, for the sake of understanding or understanding, right? Somebody, Felicia is here. Hello,
What's
Felicia.
up, Felicia?
Welcome, welcome. So we have the personal Akashic records, right? And so you can think of the personal Akashic records like the your memories that's stored within your DNA,
Right.
right? If you do some research on like the DNA, you dive a little bit deeper into what the DNA really is. It's memories, even from your nose, your eyes. You might have your grandmother's lips or your great grandfather's eyes, or you know, everything that you have is memory. And so you don't only keep the memories of the body parts. No, you have the memories of everything else, you know, and they science call it junk DNA. What the hell is junk DNA?
There is no such as junk DNA. You know, that's like saying, like, you know, the other day when, you know, I was doing some stuff on the car and, you know, I had to take it apart and
Oh
put all
yeah.
the pieces back together. I was like, you know, this is not like putting the IKEA furniture together. There are no leftover pieces. Every piece that is in this box or a part of this car belongs here and it has a purpose.
Right.
So just like our bodies, this whole makeup that we're in, there every piece that is a part of us is vital. It is very important. There
Yes.
is no junk. You know this whole saying, God don't make junk.
Right. This.
So if God don't make junk, why would you have junk DNA?
Yeah, you is no junk DNA. The DNA that they refer to as junk DNA, which is extra, they call it like extra DNA, Why would we have extra DNA? It's just crazy. But if you research it, junk DNA, that's actually, you can tap into that to get access to your Akashic records, which is your history, your past lives. And like my baby was saying, you definitely want to know about your past lives
Yes.
so that you can know what not to do
Mm-hmm.
or what you need to do or what you're here to do. You can find out the big three questions, the who, the what and the where. Like, who am I? What am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I from?
Mm-hmm.
Those are all good reasons as to why you would want to tap into your Akashic records. So
Mm-hmm.
that's on a personal level when it comes to the Akashic records. And then
Yeah.
you have the world, right? The Akashic
Mm-hmm.
records, that's for the world, the entire world. And this is where you have subtle vibrations, right? Of everything that's recorded,
Yeah.
like different dimensions. So you have somebody might be in a high state of vibrations, or
Mm-hmm.
and again, these are thought forms. This is in the ether.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why when it comes to describing the Akashic records, it's saying it, looking at it as if it's a library is something that can really help you as far as processing it on a 3D, 4D level or whatever you may say. But the Akashic records is everywhere. It's in the air.
Yeah.
It's in the water we drink. It's in the food that we eat.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a matter of raising your vibrations enough so that you can see those so that you can actually see the Akashic record, or even better yet, connect with it.
Tap into it.
And there's so many ways to tap into it, which we're gonna get into in a moment after we cover these three different levels of
Oh
the
yeah.
Akashic records. But it is much more than a library. It is all around us. We are breathing it. We are seeing it.
Eating
But
it.
just because our vibrations are not to where the point where they need to be, we can't physically see it. But if we go through, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's so much more. So much more.
Yes, guys. And the next one is the universal Akashic records. And this one when you think of universal, you think of like, the creation, existence, like evolution of the world for the Akashic records. That you can tap into also. You have access to that. And in order for you to really start tapping into the Akashic records, the collective consciousness, the ethers, the thought forms, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you might do it on accident. You ever had like this really bright idea, something that was really inspirational, and you don't know where it came from. You might have tapped in by accident,
Yeah.
but it's ways that you can do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's ways that you can do this thing by just wanting to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all are so correct as far as what Tay B just said. Do talents come from past lives? Or yeah, a lot of them do. Because like for those kids that just come in just automatically knowing how to play the piano, like really that was in their DNA.
Yeah.
And just like Rochelle said, we have cellular DNA. That's the
Yeah,
Akashic
that's
records.
the Akashic Records. And you could tap into it. You can access talent, skills that you've developed because, with this reincarnation wheel, it really sucks that, you get your memory wiped. Well, most people get their memory wiped. And then you got to start all over again. I
Yeah.
mean, you might have left the last lifetime being a great ballerina, or you might have been a great painter, or you might have been a great singer, and then you got to come back and you forget, but then you start to remember because like my baby said, you come in with certain skills. Like when you're 5 and 6 years old, you can really draw like a professional. No one ever taught you, and that's because that's a gift or a skill that you brought in with you from your previous lifetime.
Yeah. And one other thing is that when you think about actors, and for those who do the method acting, the method, if you're familiar with method acting, you're pretty much tapping into a whole nother person. Now, that's not by accident.
Right.
And a lot of actors who are not equipped to handle that type of acting really have to go into therapy for. Like Michael
Mm-hmm.
B. Jordan, he had to go into therapy for
Mm-hmm.
playing God, I forget his character's name in Black Panther. But when these people are doing method acting, what they are essentially doing is tapping in to the Akashic records, and they're actually tapping into somebody else's
Mm-hmm.
Akashic records, which is probably the reason why a lot of them go crazy, because they're
Yeah.
tapping into somebody else's Akashic records without permission,
Right.
because there are rules to this thing.
Right. It's a little slippery slope, you know.
Killmonger, there you
You
go.
know, it's with the Akashic records, it's really a slippery slope. You know, you want to, tap into your Akashic records to, see how you can better yourself, evolve, and stuff like that. But tapping into someone else's Akashic records so you can get information or so you can have benefits, that's a whole nother ball game. And, that in its turn could have some type of karmic effect,
Yeah.
so to speak. So we're not going to dive too much into that, but just a word of advice: if you're gonna tap into the Akashic records, it's best to kind of like um, do your own stuff. I mean, if you want to do the whole universal thing and the world, tapping into the subtle energies and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
connecting with the world. I mean, yeah.
right? But when it comes to specifics, you might want to just focus on yourself for right now. Um, and the next, so those are the three. So you have the personal, you have the world, and you have the universal. Then we're gonna go into hows.
Yes.
How do
How
you tap into these Akashic records?
how do you get the information?
Y'all know what we're gonna say. Y'all could just type it in the go on and just type it in the comments. Y'all
Yeah.
know. Y'all
I mean,
know.
we got a couple of different ways, but if y'all just got an inkling of knowing what's one of the ways we're going to tell y'all to connect with the Akasha record, just go ahead
Go on and
and
type it
comment
in because
below.
you already know what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
I know you know, but for those of you who are just joining us, we're just going over some information about the Akashic records. If this information is helpful for you, just go ahead and put a like on the video, look and watch
She
out some
already know.
meditation.
She already
She
know.
already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, meditation. That's one of the major ways. Now, not just any meditation. Like if you're just starting out, you might need some assistance. And I know on YouTube, there are guided meditations to help you to access your Akashic records. Now, that's just doing it on deliberation. Again, you want to make sure that your chakras, your energy points within your body, are in alignment. You don't want to have a blocked root chakra and a crown that's open up. That's imbalance, and that could make you probably go cuckoo
Cuckoo
for
for Cocoa
Cocoa
Puffs.
Puffs. Because
Yes.
you want to be able to be grounded, prior to going up into the ethers, because you don't
Yeah.
want to get up there and get too.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that actually deserves to be repeated and really focused on it first.
Yeah.
Is that once again, these Akashic records are higher vibrational stuff.
Yeah.
Just keeping it simple, right? So, in order to really gain access to these things safely, it is
Yeah.
best to make sure that you go through all of those chakra points. You want to make sure that they're clear,
Yeah.
that they're not blocked or anything of that nature. Because once you start surfing into these energies, and if you surf into one of the wrong things, then and your body is not equipped to handle the energy,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know if you all watch Altered Carbon on Netflix. Uh, there's a certain being that's going inside of people's bodies that's like super powerful,
Oh
but
yeah.
if they're not equipped to handle it, they end up dying.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's like putting your hand in the socket and not having something to root you down. I'm just saying, you have to. There's steps to it. You may have tried to access the Akasha records prior to this video, or you may be trying it now and you're wondering like, why is it not working?
Right.
That's because that there are certain connections. It's like it's almost like the old school AT&T. like when you're trying to call somebody, you got to have somebody plug you in to the line. And if those chakras are not plugged into the line, then you're not going to get the communication.
Yeah, you're
So,
not gonna go any place, and you're gonna go there real fast.
right.
Um, so that's one way.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure your chakras, your energy points are clear, they're in alignment, and then you can connect safely through your crown and
Mm-hmm.
get downloads and uploads. Get plethora of information that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's how many people write books. You ever see people write these big books, Harry Potter? Like, have you ever wondered where do these people get this information from? Like, where do they
Mm-hmm.
get this from? The ethers.
Yeah.
And we all have access to it. It's just that some of us just don't know. And if you don't know, you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Now, another one is the imagination.
Mm.
And imagination breaks down, you can think of it as image in action. Imagination.
Mm-hmm.
They always try to downplay the imagination, but do not downplay the imagination. It's one of the most
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing that you can be blessed with is the imagination. The child that survives, the childhood trauma, and you're able to see that childlike spirit in that adult being. Good
Mm-hmm.
job,
Yeah.
you made it.
Yeah.
When you see the artist in the adult, that creative person in that adult, that's that child that survived through childhood. It didn't bury that child. It's not stuck someplace in some kind of traumatic trauma, trapped in a door, and they're out there creating. That's the child that survived as an adult. Who's that artist? Who's that singer? Who's that
Mm-hmm.
whatever creative energy that they're bringing? They survived.
Yeah.
Toodles to you.
That is a fact, and it's so amazing because even when you say that, back in my teenage years, when I was in high school, like I drew a lot, I did a lot of music, just a lot of creative stuff, right? And during that time period, it was like I felt so connected as to everything that was going on. And it's just like things were just clicking and it was flowing. And I'm glad that I've been able to really hold on to a lot of that because
Oh
I'm,
yeah,
getting back into it. So,
you held on tight. Real tight. I mean, I did
yeah,
a painting today. I've been painting, guys.
yeah.
Like I've been
If y'all follow us on
painting.
Instagram, y'all see some of the pictures she's
I'm looking at one of
posted.
my paintings right now, and I'm like, wow, that I made a waterfall. I made
Mm-hmm.
a moon and a few others, but I've been painting. It's like the creative energy is coming through, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at that waterfall. It is so beautiful. My first time, because
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to paint, but lately I've been doing it. I got me a whole it's outside the stand and everything,
Got a
and
whole easel. Like we just found one. We went in Michael's, and if you're a creative, when you go into Michael's, it is like candy laying in there.
Candy Land.
And we saw an easel in there that was like $20, and they got 40% off. It was like, get it before they
Right.
change their mind.
Because it was like $54 and we paid like 19.99,
Mm-hmm.
and it came with a picture frame where you can paint, and it was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So I grabbed it really quick before somebody said it's the wrong price. But yeah, we've been painting. That's
Mm-hmm.
one way to get up, is to get in that imagination, dive into that imagination.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Tap into that childlike place on the inside and bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And another name for the Akashic Records, they call it sometimes the Book of Life.
Yeah.
They like to call it the Book of Life. That's another name for the Akashic Records. But and some people say that it's like a warehouse or a storehouse up into the ethers, like
Mm-hmm.
thought form. That's another name that you'll hear for the Akashic Records. But it's just a stream of consciousness. That's all it is, collective consciousness, all thoughts and everything that has ever been thought of.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your energetic light codes, up in the Akashic Records. As far as, it might be different for everyone, like what relates to you. You might get it from your guides, your angels, or whatever have you. And but yeah, so guided meditations is one way. Imagination, and again, you can use this to, because some people might be like, well, why I need to get up into the Akashic records? You can use that to uncover unhealthy patterns that you've been trying to, get rid of for many lifetimes, and you don't even know it because every time you come back, you forget. So you do the same thing again. So this might be a good opportunity for you to see where you have unhealthy patterns that you keep repeating and you keep repeating, and it's like you're in a loop. So sometimes in order for us to escape that loop, we just need that little extra bit of information, so we can see where we are weak at or where we are strong at. But knowing where you're strong at is okay, but it's better to know your weak points so that you can work on it. Because for your strengths, you already got it. So you don't necessarily need to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think that's what we got. And also to understand that the when you're accessing the Akashic records, you're really doing it with your again with the subconscious mind, because that's the one that
Mm-hmm.
records everything 24/7.
Mm-hmm. It's right in there and it's deep.
Yes.
And I just dropped a comment down if anybody is looking to um, have a card pulled for them this evening. We're definitely still open up for that tonight if you all are open for it. But we definitely hope that this information was helpful for you when it comes to the Akashic Records.
Yes. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing: food.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to talk about the
Another way to
food.
connect to it.
That's another big way to connect to the Akashic records is through what you eat,
Mm-hmm.
because
Which is the
you're
live foods.
yeah the oh yeah not the animals.
Stay away from the bats. Stay away from the snakes.
Yeah, not the animals, but yeah, but connecting with Mother Earth, because little story about the trees. I don't know if you guys, there is this video on YouTube going around with there is no more forests. If you guys haven't seen it, I go and look at it. It's
Yeah.
called There Is No More Forest on Planet Earth.
Right. It's about an hour
It's about an
long.
hour long. No more
Yeah.
forests on planet Earth.
Let me see if I can pull it real quick.
And this young lady goes deep. I mean deep into how there is no more forest left. And when I first looked at the video, I was like, what does she mean it's no more forest? I could see a forest right there in the backyard. What is she talking about? And then as she, delve further into the video, you can really see how at first she sounded crazy, but then as she started explaining it and she started showing us pictures, it started to make sense. And so, and doing my own research, and I realized why it was necessary for the, powers that be, whatever you want to call them. So much names for these people. The ones that created alphabet and stuff, whoever, the banks and stuff. But I could see why it was very vital, and why it was very important for them to cut down all these trees, because
Mm-hmm.
these trees, the trees, they hold information. They literally hold information. And so, in order for them to really control, they had to sever that connection. So, they cut down the trees. Like, they had trees that were like as huge as cities,
Mm-hmm.
but they found a way to cut it down.
Okay. I found the video, so I'm going
Oh, you
to
got it. Good.
share the link in the description as well as in the
Perfect.
chat so y'all can go back and watch it when you get a
Yes.
chance.
This video will really blow your mind. It's going to make you look at this earth in a different light. I mean, I'm already looking at this earth sideways, but this is really going to open
Mm-hmm.
you up to see the truth that's been right in front of you this whole time. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get pissed off in the beginning because you're going to be like, damn, they fooled me. I was fooled for all this time.
Yeah.
But you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
it's
You gonna
going
see.
it's going to piss you off.
You gonna see.
You'll see these trees, how big and how beautiful they were. It's kind of like the movie Avatar.
Exactly the movie Avatar.
And you know what? It's so crazy because they telling us how they destroyed us through a movie. Because they cut
Mm-hmm.
down the mother tree in the Avatar. It's no different than what they did to planet Earth. Cut down the mother tree. And once
Mm-hmm.
you cut down the mother tree, that's the connections to the ancestors. That's the direct connection. So if you don't have any more answers, you're gonna go to someone else for your answers, and you're not gonna get the answers that you're looking for.
Right. Well, it looks like we got a new request for a card reading from Miss Bridges. I don't think I've seen Miss Bridges
Miss
before.
Bridges, welcome, welcome. And for
Yeah.
those of you who are just joining us, we ask that you please put a like on the video. You can just exit out of the chat real quick and just go to the thumbs up and just hit a thumbs up to help with the algorithm for YouTube. It really does help. And so this is for, yeah, the trees used to
Thank
be
you.
so tall. Yes. They used to be super tall. They were like big as cities. Like people had houses on the trees. It was big, really, really big trees. And you could tell how big the trees were because you can see the pictures of the people that cut the trees down, and it was like hundreds of people around the tree that they cut down. So it was huge,
Yeah.
and it's sad. And then they, the little sticks twigs that they call forests now, it's like a joke.
It's the shrubs of what. Yeah. It's when you all get a chance, check out that video. Hopefully you can click on the link in the chat. If not, after this live is done, I will make sure to put it in the description.
And what's her name, Brittany?
No, Lash,
Lashante?
yeah, Lashante.
Lashante? Okay, Lashante, let's get a reading from you on today. Let me get my sage. I love my sage. Always got to make sure we got clear energy. Okay, so Lashante, we're going to get you your card reading for tonight. If anyone wants a reading, just go ahead and put it in the chat. Let us know. All right, Lashante, let's see what, and I usually do 3 cards.